Dating Boot Camp is our way of helping women make love happen on their own. It really is a way of teaching women how to go on the first date, how to get the first date, and how to approach the man the right way.
I can't focus because there are too many options. Kid in the candy store syndrome. Basically, I try to reveal what goes on inside a man's mind. If there's a woman, I want to see boobs, I want to see hips, and I want to see long legs. That's as simple as it is.
We've been on the journey before. We're a real-life couple. We've both been the guy and the girl in the relationship, and I think that that's what's important, and we can relate our stories. Because if you point out your flaws, that's when they see them.
When you tell him to look, he's like a dog. He's gonna look.
I told Matt I thought my head was too big when I met him. I think my head is big. Is that a proportion? Do you think my head is big? I think my head is big? Now, 5 years later, he's like, your head looked big this morning when I saw you.
How long would you guys keep calling a woman for before you just stopped calling?
The man panel, I think the women were waiting for.
How independent should she be?
So you're going to be able to ask the guys firsthand exactly what goes on in their minds and what it's all about. We have representatives from the New York Post, from Sexy Slang, from Glamour magazine.
For a woman to be able to peer into the minds of a man, 5 different ones that represent each different type of man.
When you see a woman with like 3 guys, that's a way better sign than when you see a girl with 1 guy.
Make sure that you don't let him feel like you're available all the time.
We want to teach people how to not date dumb, not waste your time, and find the guys who will appreciate who you are.
This poor girl is waiting at home for her Prince Charming to call, while Prince Charming is feverishly running around trying to bed his next subject.
We want to teach you to take notice of who's around you and have an attitude about yourself, because that's what it's about. It's not about being a size 0, a size 2, a size 4.
And we are so determined to make this happen that we have them email us a picture every morning.
When we're going to work, we're thinking about climbing the corporate ladder, making sure our boss is happy, and making sure we get the bonus.
Guys, they go to work, they're worrying about who's a new cute girl.
When we're going to the gym, we're thinking about working out because we had cake the day before.
They're working out, they're only working out a lot of times because they want to be more attracted to the opposite sex so they can have sex.
And the only time maybe we're thinking about sex is when we actually meet somebody, perhaps, that we want to have sex with, right?
Men wake up in the morning and they say, wonder if I'm going to have sex today.
What are men looking at when they see a woman?
A recent study of 300 societies across the world concluded that the female body is the #1 concern for our mate selection.
The chest is first. That's the first thing a man looks at.
They like a shapely body. We don't want anorexic boy bodies. We like the curves. That's what he sees initially. That's what he's looking at. For women, the #1 concern, the criteria that they used, was not that. As a matter of fact, the male body, it was an afterthought. All those hours in the gym, all the body art. Do you got money? All right.
It's all about why a man actually approaches you. Initially, what you have are your looks, and that doesn't mean everybody needs to be a size 2 or a size 4, but what it means is looks both inside and out.
They only act from their visual pleasure. That's what causes a man to react. It's very important to always be prepared, and that's to look your best. You can't tell me that when you go out and you're looking badass, you know you look good, you don't feel powerful that day. Why isn't that the case every day?
What we conclude is you never get a second chance to make that first impression.
We are not saying that you have to look beautiful to meet a guy. That is not what we're saying. I'm not going to fall into your trap out there so people can yell at me.
It's about the confidence that you have in loving yourself, because I promise you, if you don't love yourself first, and this is where attitude comes in, you're not going to find somebody else to love you. We have 2 versions of a date. We want to tell you what goes on inside the guy's head, and of course, what goes on inside the woman's head, and see where things just don't connect all the time.
I was about to walk up to the bar when I noticed how hot the hostess was. So I thought I'd strike up a conversation. The girl was so awesome. Not only did I get her number, she gave me the best table in the place.
He was right on time and already had a table. He must have called ahead. because it was the best table in the restaurant.
Sheila showed up, and yeah, she was attractive, but not as hot as I had remembered.
And he looked really good. I wonder how he had time to go home, shower, shave, change clothes, and still get here on time. Well, he did all that for me. Wow.
She talked so much, I think I went into a hypnotic trance while I was staring dead in her face.
The conversation, it was effortless. He seemed to be interested in every word I had to say. He kept asking me if I needed anything more to drink. What a gentleman.
I tried to get her drunk, but she wasn't a drinker. I had no other choice but to play the big presentation at work card.
And he's so responsible. He told me he only had till 10 p.m. because he had an early morning presentation.
I thought I would make a clean break until she kept following me almost back to my place. I couldn't lose her.
When the date ended, we even walked for a little while, talking about everything that popped into our heads. It was so romantic.
Maybe if I kissed her passionately enough, she might let me take her back to my place. As I went to kiss her, she cheeked me.
He leaned over to kiss me, but I turned my cheek because I remember never to kiss on the first date. So he just smiled and said goodnight. What a wonderful end to a perfect date.
I told her I'd give her a call.
You gotta be kidding me.
You can't schedule when love is going to happen.
That is what a man will respond to.
What is your unique factor?
Come on, I've been on like 300. Who's been on a really bad date? Right.
You don't know what goes through our heads. We're terrified of you. The date ends, you go home, and then 3 days later, you haven't heard from him. And then you're thinking, what did I do wrong? You're overanalyzing, you're talking to all your friends, and then you're driving yourself crazy wondering, why hasn't he called?